Namaste, Namaskaram, Vanakkam, Namo Maha. Happy Maha Sivaratri 2026. And it's interesting that it always corresponds to the Western Valentine's Day, which is all about the little being Cupid, right? It's about desire and lust. But not coincidentally, in the Hindu Yoga Dharma, we also have a precursor to Cupid, which was Kamadeva. Who also has the bow and the arrow, and it's about love or lust. And there's a classic story with Shiva and Parvati when Mahadev was in the depths of meditation, and he needed to be woken out of his meditation for the cosmic unfolding of the creation of his and Parvati's second son, Skanda Murga. So in this classic story, Kamadeva shoots an arrow of love at Shiva, and Shiva wakes up from his meditation, but being a little bit upset, quote unquote, over this, he burns Kamadeva to ashes. So there's a great symbolic story here that we all have desires, we all have lust for certain things, excessive desires sometimes, but we need to learn to control these so that they don't control us. So we have to burn up our excessive desires and use desire wisely. That's why Saiva Hindus, and you'll see this on the forehead of Shiva and the Saiva family, Ganesha, Skanda Murga, Shiva Parvati, you'll see the Tripundra, the three stripes of Vibhuti, which interestingly is the third pada of the Saiva Hindu Guru Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. The three stripes of Vibhuti, which is made from purified cow dung. Get the imagery here? We refine the BS into holy ash as we burn up three things: lobha, krodha, kama, greed, anger, lust. And there's a solution to that. Greed is burned up by dana, or giving. Lobha, krodha, anger, is burnt up by compassion, karuna, also damyata. And then lust is burned up by control, yama, which is also dayadvam. Lobha, krodha, kama, dana, dayadvam, damyata. So it's interesting that Kamadeva also rides on a parrot. And if you go to the famous Meenakshi temple in Tamil Nadu, there the form of Mother Parvati as Meenakshi, the fish-eyed damsel with these beautiful eyes, she has a parrot on her shoulder. And those who have parrots, one of our devotees, Amulya, has a parrot. They're amazing creatures. They love to sit on your shoulder, and they talk to you. They talk in your ear. They give you little secrets, if you will. So on Mahashivaratri, which is celebrated every month, but we have one special one every year, which is coming up this Sunday evening. And so on this night, we reflect on destroying greed, anger, and lust in our life in order to what? To find true love as opposed to lust. True love doesn't come and go. That's why it's associated with the heart chakra, anahata, which literally means no hit. And to understand what that means, think of the Zen Goen. What is the sound of one hand clapping? Meaning that the experience of love is just that. It's beyond words. And everyone knows when they're in it. And it's not a coincidence that we feel it at the chest. When you are, quote unquote, in love, you feel like your chest is opening up, blossoming. And when you, quote unquote, fall out of love, don't people say my heart is crushed and even hold their heart? Oh. So the negative heart attack, positive heart attack is falling in love. And in the true experience, it goes beyond falling in and out of anything. That's the anahata chakra. And it's not a coincidence that we associate the three youthful, loving warrior deities, and then the fourth would be Ma Durga. We have Skanda Murga, Hanumanji, Sri Krishna, the ever-eternal, youthful, loving warriors. All three must go together. And it's not a coincidence that Murga Skanda, Sanmukhanada, is the impetus behind the Shaddarshanas, or the six orthodox systems of Hindu philosophy. For a philosopher is, or exhibits, the qualities of a youthful, loving warrior. Philos means love, philosopher. So on this great night of Mahashivaratri, let's see, we'll put Shiva Parvati, Ganapati here. And let's see, Muruganji. Let's see, here's Muruganji. Velve Muruga. And there's a Shiva Lingam over here, the Absolute. From out of the Absolute comes, obviously, creation itself, male, female. So Shiva is an amazing figure because he shows us basically the two margas in Hinduism, the two paths. You either take on the life of a grahasta, family person, and they're forever together. It's always Shiva, Parvati, and the two children, Ganapati and Muruganji. Or if one chooses to not be married, then they take the road of what Hindus call sannyas. And this is Shiva as Mahadev, right, all by himself in the forest. Right? So let's reflect on love. And we'll title this Love No Waiting Required. So this reflection arises from a simple but liberating realization. Much human anxiety is generated by waiting for love to arrive in the future, rather than recognizing it in the present moment. In many religious traditions, especially those shaped by linear time, monotheism, love is often deferred. Salvation is promised later. Fulfillment is postponed. Peace is projected into an imagined future moment, a return, an arrival, an end of history. Psychologically, this creates tension, vigilance, and ultimately exhaustion. One waits, watches, and worries. But love does not behave this way. If love is real, it cannot be absent now. Love does not leave the world and return at a later date. Love appears, expresses, rests, and appears again. It is cyclical, not postponed. When figures such as Jesus are understood not as monopolies on love, but as luminous expressions of it, the anxiety of waiting dissolves. Compassion, forgiveness, and self-giving are not events scheduled for the end of time. They are realities available whenever they are embodied. Life itself confirms this pattern. The Ashvin twins in the Vedas, the breath, which moves in cycles. Seasons return. Birth follows death. Speech resolves into silence and rises again. Love, too, moves this way. Expression followed by rest. Connection followed by quiet. The expectation of a single future return often distracts from present responsibility. When people wait for love to fix the world later, injustice can be tolerated now. Cruelty can be endured. Silence can excuse harm. But love does not repair reality from the future. It acts in the present. The fleeting present. We learn from the past, prepare for the future, but it's always now. And now that's gone. The expectation of a single future return often distracts from present responsibility. To recognize love now is not to abandon hope. It is to free hope from delay. Love is not something humanity is missing. It is something humanity forgets. In a circular understanding of life, nothing essential is postponed. What matters most is always near. Love does not need to return. It needs to be recognized. Love requires no waiting. It asks only for presence. When love is forgotten, humans argue about truth. Where love is remembered and present, silence is not threatening or empty. It is ease, trust, and shared presence. Where love is absent, rhetoric becomes loud, aggressive, and endless, especially in religious and ideological debate. The experience of love is often silent, but is expressed through actions. Humans know this, for Valentine's Day is about hearts. People make a heart gesture with their hands. In the Hindu understanding of the chakras, the fourth Anahata chakra is, of course, at the heart. It is here that one feels either an expansive feeling of love or its opposite when the heart is crushed. However, deep love is an undefinable experience, hence the meaning of Anahata as no hit. So too the Atmana is very different than the psyche in the Cupid story, which is still connected to the mind, the soul and the mind in the West. Atmana literally means not mind. So the goal is to ethically go out of one's mind into the